Welcome to One on One. I'm your host, Lee Adams, and today we have a very special guest with us. In the 1970s, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania was the city of champions. Why did they call it that? Because the Pittsburgh Pirates they made it to 2 World Series and they won both of them. But our Pittsburgh Steelers, they made it to 4 Super Bowls and they won all 4. So we were 6 for 6 in the decade of the 70s. And today we have one of the stars of that Steeler team. He was part of the Steel Curtain. He was a shutdown corner, and he's from Macon, Georgia. Please let me introduce to you Mr. J.T. Thomas. J.T., it's great to have you.
Always, my friend. Appreciate you.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So we're now into the Steeler years, and you have this guy named Chuck Noll, who was your head coach. I'm curious, we would turn the TV on and you guys would be out there and here we go. But you were in the locker room and you're sitting there listening to Chuck Noll. So what was he saying in the pregame to you guys?
Chuck was a philosopher, and you would think most pregame speeches would be like, okay, guys, let's go out here and let's kill them, the kind of some rah-rah type stuff. Chuck's pregame speech was almost like a pretext to a victory. He would say something like, okay, guys, we had a great week of practice out here. Everybody's healthy this week. The fans are out here. Let's go out here and give them their money's worth. And he would say, okay, guys, showtime. It was a damn show. So in your mind, you're thinking, well, this is a show, it's performance, I got to get this over with. So the victory is already assumed in your head. We have to give the fans their money worth.
So a winning culture.
Yeah, it was just like, you weren't tense about it. You was, Lambert would say, okay, let's go ahead and get this mess over, we can get the hell out of here.
Who said that, Lambert?
Lambert, that was the attitude, that let's get this over with, like something we got to do. Like I got to clean up my room before I go on a date. It was kind of that thing. Not like I got a challenge out here. Not that I couldn't do it, but I got to clean my room up before I leave the house.
I always say, JT, that within a relationship, a friendship, work, a team, or anything that people are involved, a culture is set. Mm-hmm. And with the Pittsburgh Steelers, who set the culture and what was the culture?
Well, I think all the guys set the culture. I think the question, how do you set the culture? And I think you have to have some basic principles. It goes back to the common denominator thing. Because you don't want to change the numerator. That's who I am. I'm not going to change that. That's my differential. Well, I got to like your differential because it helps our common denominator. And I think once you realize the common denominator, that's how you set the culture. It goes back to what are the mutual interests here. See, it's hard to set a culture when, I want this and he wants that and then I want to dominate. No. What's the mutual interest here? And once you find that common ground, it's amazing what you do because you're uniform, you're in sync. You're not off beat, so all the instruments are playing, but you're in the pocket. You're on beat. You all know what the rhythm is. And I think that's what's key. Now, to get that set requires some humility, but it also calls a respect for who's around you. What we had was, we used to admire each other. We see something like, did you see what he just did? Did you see what that song just did? And so everybody's calling each other a freak, a nature.
Well, you had thoroughbreds.
Yeah, and so you start admiring, and so when I can admire you, don't envy you, I can support you. See, and I think we had that culture. Now that goes back to Chuck, on the team, but I think you go to the Rooney family. The chief was an amazing guy. I mean, I got to know him very well. I used to I got a chapter in my book called Riding with the Chief. I used to ride with him every Tuesday night, him and Commissioner Forrester at the time, when he went to the Catholic diocese and gave out money and he wanted me to speak. He thought I was Catholic because I went to a Catholic school. He found out I went to a Catholic school. Oh, he's Catholic, I'm Baptist. But anyway, I didn't tell him that. That's another story. But it started with him, and you would see him at practice, and he's sitting in the middle of the ground crew, who was led by this Dirk DiNardo, and this motley crew of guys. You know, they were Italian, Polish, German, black, all of them sitting there eating lunch, and the chief sitting right in the middle of them watching practice. And I used to say, well, why is he with those guys? He's Mr. Rooney. And then, it was our first Super Bowl, they're on the plane, whole staff, their leader, Dirk DiNardo. And, okay, well, that's nice. He bring them to the Super Bowl. Good thing to do. No, even better. We are, back then, we having a good time partying because Chuck Norris believed you go to Super Bowl, you're supposed to party. You don't supposed to have a good time because 1 week is not going to make a difference. So we partied. But I see Dirk DiNardo, who's head of the ground crew, he is in every bar we go to. And we saw him once. He's loud. They all loud, drinking cigars, three-piece suits, hats on, tilted. And 2 or 3 bars we see, Dirk signs the check and walks out. So Dwight said, wait a minute. Is Dirk paying for this? We saw him 2 other times, Dirk signing the check. Well, we found out the chief had given them carte blanche to the ground crew to do whatever they want, have a good time, and he took the check. I said, wait a minute now, this is the owner of the team, gave an open check to the ground crew to enjoy the Super Bowl. And we just, because we asked her, said, well, man, no, the chief set this up, man. We just signed. I said, y'all just signed. No, but that says something about his character, who he was, and that permeates down to the ball club. And like I say, I found out more so about him that my great grandmother that lived with until she passed, her nephew, who I didn't know before I knew of before I came to Pittsburgh through my aunts, because it was their first cousin, that he was Mr. Rooney's best friend. Mr. Rooney, before he got into into football, he had other occupations, and I've been permitted I can share this. And
He liked the racetrack.
racetracks, a few other things in the neighborhoods and stuff. And he needed someone to do his collections in the neighborhood. Well, it was my great grandmother's nephew that he's trusted to do that. Now, the reason he could do it, he could pass in all neighborhoods. He could pass in the black, Italian, Polish, German nephew. And he was a big man for the time. He was close to 6'2". His name was George Mike. And when I first met Mr. Mike, I thought Mr. Mike was white. And because Lawrence never told him, I guess my grandmother was darker than me, my great-grandmother. But I guess those sisters were somewhere around the big house. I don't know. But nevertheless, when I met Mr. George Mike, I thought I met the wrong house. He knew me. So anyway, Mr. George Mike had 10 kids, older than me, and 11 kids. But he had married an American Indian, But he was, bottom line, Mr. Rooney guy that went to the neighborhood and made sure all the receipts and stuff was accurate and stuff like that. And so out of that relationship, just by happenstance, Mr. Rooney asked me one night, I was driving, did I have any relatives in Pittsburgh? I said, yeah. I have a cousin on the north side. He said, who is it? I said, George and Mike. The cigar fell out his mouth. I had a Lincoln Town Car with velour seats on it. I'm thinking we'll catch a fire. I had to pull this thing over, and it shocked him. He said, George Mike. He said, he's one of my best friends. That's all he told me. But Mr. Mike eventually told me the story. The chief didn't tell me. Mr. George Mike, him, I'm drinking some brandy one day. He felt pretty good. He spilled the beans and told me their relationship.
Oh, I see. I
It's
see.
Interesting story, though. Yeah.
So now, the Steel Curtain. I just want to talk about some of the people in the Steel Curtain. Glenn Edwards.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about Glenn? You're in the defensive back row with him. Glenn
Yeah,
Edwards.
Glenn came from Florida A&M University. Matter of fact, same city with, I'm going to tell that. I met Glenn my senior year. Right after the Immaculate Reception, he was a big star. He came back to his alma mater, so I went over to Florida A&M University, and he was there for something because my wife, uncle, he had been the head trainer for FAMU forever. I mean, so he knew Glenn, and so I met Glenn then, not knowing the following year we would be teammates. But the guy was from Florida A&M is known for some of the greatest NFL players in the league, from Bob Hayes, Glenn Edwards. So Glenn had speed, toughness, and really, he was so key in that secondary as a leader. Tough kid. He had contracts put him on. He back then he's knocking out people and stuff like that. Very
Hard
tough,
hitter.
hard hitter, smart guy, just a quick, fast athlete.
Did you all know what colleges each of you went to?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so Mel Blount, where did he go?
He went to Southern, yes.
Southern.
Yeah. A part of
Is that HBCU?
you're right, and we had that great mixture. Most African Americans came from those historical black colleges. Not all of us. I didn't, but there was a bond that they had. But there's also a learning and transfer of culture that we had gained, those of us who had went to white colleges.
Yeah.
Because it was part of them adjusting to this NFL system.
Yeah. Big adjustment.
Yeah, those guys hadn't been in this environment where I had been at Florida State, so I understood the system a little better. So,
Did Donnie Shell go to HBCU?
yes, he did. He went to South Carolina State. Yeah.
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 And what was he like to play with?
Donnie was a physical player from day one. When we first saw Donnie, he was a linebacker. So we didn't see Donnie at all then become a defensive back. We was on strike the year they came in, and the first game, Mel and I was watching the game, obviously checking out who were the defensive backs they brought in. And Donnie was a linebacker converted to a DB, and we saw Donnie backpedaling. We thought it was funny. Mel said, he's not going to make the ball club. Little did we know. This guy came in, and he's talking about transform himself. You don't go from being a linebacker to a defensive back.
No.
That's just, you just don't do that kind of stuff.
No.
But
he did.
Oh, man. Did he? Matter of fact.
How do you do that?
Well, he came up, Dunham's kind of guy is like a lot of guys, whatever opportunity you give me, I'm going to blow it up. I'm not going to check the box. I'm going to blow the box up. Donnie came in on special teams, went down on kickoffs and stuff. Donnie blew it up. He's making the tackles. He's the first one down the field. He is recovering the fumbles that he don't cause the tackle on. You say, well, and so we started calling him Torpedo. That was his nickname. He would hit anything that he'd been in practice, and he would kill Bradshaw. And Chuck Knowles say, Donnie, what the hell are you doing? That would get you out of here more than anything else. Oh, Chuck, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit him that hard. He just didn't know any better. To my football player, it's like a snake. Well, I'm going to bite, but don't bite me with your poisonous tongue. I ain't got but one tongue to bite you with. And Donnie Shell, one of those kind of guys. He got one tongue to bite you with, and it's poisonous.
Now, Mike Wagner was a different kind of safety.
Yeah.
And what was his MO?
Mike was the professor, the studious one, analytical one. Mike was Mike probably could have been a coach if he desired to be, you know. He's the kind of guy that's sitting high, checking it all out, anticipating, know what's going on. And we depend on him a lot. I mean, he saved
In
our,
what ways?
I mean, in the calls, he saved us on bad moves. He knowing the play, he anticipated, and we think, oh, Mike, I can't count the times we think Mike Mellon, hey man, thank you, bail our asses out. Folks don't know that, you know. He didn't get the credit for it, you know, but he bailed us out, or he called the check. Even Lambert come back and said, hey Mike, thanks man, I didn't see the call, I didn't see the check, or I missed the check. You know, at the last minute, he's jumping all around screaming because ain't nobody got the check but Mike. Mike, we forgot to check. You get so emotional in the game sometimes, you don't see something. He always had that hit. Wait a minute, guys. We had to check out of this. So he's running around, you know, like Paul Revere on the field, making sure everybody get the check because we done missed it or forgot about it.
So he was like the coach on the field?
Yeah, he was. He was.
That's pretty valuable.
Oh, it's more than valuable, but folks don't know that. Yeah, he was like the coach because his perspective from free safety, he saw everything. That we too tight. The linebackers can't see everything. He and the line of swimmers growling and talking crap. He called the fronts and called the plays, but after that, his mentality is down there with Joe Green and Ernie Holmes. You know, they trying to annihilate people and they talking crap. You know, there has to be a head in the game someplace.
Wasn't Andy Russell, that was towards the end of his career when you came in, wasn't that right?
He was ahead in the game too, but he was.
He was too?
He was more of the ambassador in the game. Andy had the connection with the referees. Man, it's older. He was 10 years older than most of us. So Andy, back then, before they had instant replays and that, like, Andy would go over and get referees to reverse calls and stuff. He'll go and be talking with them. Well, wait a minute, hey, that wasn't exactly hit, you know. And he can go over and negotiate, you know, calls.
That's not easy to do.
He did. Because back then, see, they had the camera to go to, you know. Now they didn't have this perspective, and Andy will explain the rules as if he's the head official in the NFL. And at the same time, they knew him. They respect him, and his whole demeanor. He had a demeanor of calm where he never was excited. He never got overwhelmed by the game. It was just calm, and this thing. You know, Andy was a great football player, but he was the one that would calm things down. Joe and Ernie, you know. And that's why they had him on. Because you look on that side, the right side of the defense was.
He was in front of Mel Blount.
Yeah, see, but our defense had two psychologists. People don't realize it. Right down the middle. On the left side, you had similar person. You had Jack Ham, myself, L.C. Greenwood, Mike Wagner. Most of us don't get penalties. We don't go to New York on Monday morning to see Pete Rozelle for kicking people the left side of the defense. So you got myself, Ham, L.C. Greenwood, Wagner. And yeah, so once you get past that, you get to Joe Green, a metamorphosis start to take place. Things start to change. You got Green, you got Lambert. Look at the personalities. Ernie Holmes, okay? Now you got Glenn Edwards back there too. See, Glenn Edwards,
Mel Blount.
Mel Blount, okay, and Dwight White. Dwight White was our Richard Pryor comedian, talked the whole game. Funny guy, but mad dog. So you got Andy Ross in the midst of all this chaos. So I used to think Chuck put him over there just to manage the chaos. Because he didn't belong on that side of the field. And from a personality, he should be on the other side, you know. But he over there, all that chaos with Ernie, Dwight.
To keep it calm.
And so he kept it calm, kept them in the game. All these are the dynamics people are not aware of, as well as letting them know what's going on, warning them about stuff, you know, and talking to them about stuff. So he was like the mediator over there, you know.
Well, I think also when you got there, I believe Henry Davis was the middle linebacker.
Yeah, Henry Davis was the middle linebacker when I first got there, all pro, awesome middle linebacker. And unfortunately, we called him Hank. He had a neck injury, and that neck injury, ended his career. But they took Jack Lambert, who was behind Jack Ham. So now I often wondered if Henry had never got this injury, had never happened, how Jack Lambert would have gone. I don't know. Because I didn't see him beating out Ham. No, Ham just a great athlete. He had skills that Lambert didn't have. So that dog wasn't going to hunt. But it shows you how things happen. You throw him in there, and you said it's not going to work because he's atypical for a middle linebacker. But it goes back to the thing we're talking about, what's inside. Because he defied all the went against all of what a middle linebacker should be and look like.
Well, the city loved all of you guys, but they really took to Jack Lambert, especially when he threw that cowboy down.
Yeah.
When he messed with your kicker.
Yeah, Cliff Harrison. Yeah, Lambert was Joe Green was the cornerstone for that whole mentality of roughness and crude and taking names. Lambert was the flammable one. He's the one that poured gasoline on the fire, and he kept pouring gasoline on the fire. So
What did he say in the huddle?
Well, Jack, believe it or not, was very, very intelligent. Believe it or not, someone told me. I talked to him once about. Get out of my face. I say, hey, Lammy, I heard you was gonna be a minister at one time. You was gonna be part of the cloth. I don't know if it's true or not. It's something he thought about, wanted to be one time. But he told me in so many certain words, don't be talking to him about stuff like that. But he was a very intelligent. In his rage, he was in control. In his rage, he was in control, knew what was going on. Very intelligent guy. You look at him and say, oh yeah, he was sharp.
So in the huddle, he kept it together.
He was the one that was calling the defense. Now, we all knew the defense. We all looked to the sideline. But in terms of calling the defense and keeping that tempo, there he kept the fire. He kept gasoline on the fire. He had some gasoline that he squirts every play, and he lights a match. That was his personality. One thing that he did that was surprising, he would say, and I thought about it years later, and how you set an attitude for players. Most time, the middle linebacker who's calling the play, he comes into the huddle, look to the side, and I get the play and call the play, not him. The first thing he would always say, okay, guys, 3 and out. Then he calls stunt 4-3, cover whatever. He always said 3 and out. So think about the psychology of that in your mind every series. You're thinking it's only 3 plays. So who can't run 3 plays at 110%? Because you think it's only 3 plays. So you're not programmed thinking we're out here. No, he abbreviated your time and say, okay, guys, 3 and out. Then he called the play.
Both of my kids went to Penn State University, and Franco is a icon at Penn State. But there's another icon at Penn State, and they call it linebacker U. And that guy is named Jack Ham.
Oh, yeah.
And so Jack Ham played in front of you. And what was he like to play with?
Now, Jack probably was one of the intuitive football players. Just know where to go. He was probably a legitimate football. What I mean, I don't think he needed to be in the huddle to play football. Just put him on the field. He's going to figure out
What's going on?
yeah. Because a lot of times he didn't know the play. I tell that, I make that, he didn't know the play. He's in the huddle, and he's kind of like the kid that just glad to be with the guys. Yeah, you know, I'm just glad to be, and he's in the, and LC will be looking at him. LC asked him a couple of times, why you come in the huddle? He said, you don't listen to the players call. So why are you up in the huddle? Why don't you just stay out there, you say the walk. Just line up out there. Why you come in the huddle? Because what he would do, after we break the huddle, he bounces out like, you know, ready to go. Then all of a sudden, he started this gyration with me. I'm over here, honey, waving his hand. And I'm saying, he don't know the coverage. He didn't listen to the defense. And LC figured out,
Imagine that.
I just wonder why you in the huddle, Ham, you not listen to the coverage. Mine too.
What's he thinking about?
Yeah, I'm like covering this guy here. T. What's the coverage? So LC figured out, or did, I better learn, listen to the whole coverage, the stunt, the front, and the coverage. And LC, when he started that, LC would call him. He'll do what? All right, Hammer, they in cover 2. LC would give him the coverage so he'll have it. Because a lot of he didn't listen. But the thing about him, though, he was just a intuitive, just great ball player, anticipatory skills. He just knew. He did stuff like, what's his responsibility? Why are you over there? He's right. You know, you had a couple guys like that. Ernie Holmes. Ernie Holmes ran his own plays. Dwight said I don't trust him because Dwight will call a stunt that they're supposed to run, where Ernie's supposed to be swing out, Dwight in. Ernie changed his mind on the snap of the ball, Dwight would say. Dwight said, you know, he changed his mind. He's supposed to be going outside. I'm in, we both inside. The only problem, they correct, they killed the play. Now, why Ernie went inside, he has some wild philosophical reason that no one understands but Ernie. And he'd be in the meeting while we're in the lights, you know, George said, Ernie, why are you in there? Why did you run that route, Ernie? Why did you, then Dwight called for you to be outside. Then he gets some philosophical inspiration from somewhere in the ozone layer. And we have to listen to this because, see, you don't want to stop him because you might usher in a behind whipping from him or a threat. So we let him go on and don't laugh at him. You know, we be about to choke sometime because it's funny. And you laugh at him, hey, he'll threaten you.
Well, now that we're on the subject of Ernie Holmes.
Yes.
You know, he was a disruptor. And
Yes,
he
he
was
was.
physical.
Physical, very physical.
But he also became known for the altercation with the police. Mm-hmm. And so you were there. Mm-hmm. Why don't you tell us the real story?
Well, Ernest was late coming to training camp. Now, why Ernest was late, only God knows why he was late, but he was a few days late for training camp. He was coming to Ohio with all his belongings in his car. Small car, I don't know why, 325 pounds was like a sausage in this car, almost like a Volkswagen Bug size. But anyway, he's coming through trying to get to training camp, and this tractor trailer wouldn't allow him to pass. And so he figured the best thing to do is to shoot the tires out of it. I guess the guy was, trying to pass the guy, move over.
Shoot the tires out.
Yeah, so Ernie pulled his gun out, shoot the tires out of his tractor trailer. And obviously I'm sure it pulled over, but the guy radioed for the cops. So now you got the cops chasing, in patrol cars as well as in the air. And so they're chasing Ernie. He's leaving out, trying to get out of Ohio to Pennsylvania. And the helicopter came down on him. He shoots up in the helicopter and shoots the officer in the foot, hit the officer. So they got to go. They finally, he abandoned the car, and went into the woods running, him and his gun. That's crazy. And you can see this 325-pound black guy running through the woods out in Ohio someplace after shooting a cop. Those are dangerous circumstances to be in. But anyway, he was.
He's in the fix.
And he tells the story that he was tired. He was sitting under a tree resting, and you heard the clicks of many weapons surrounding him.
He
And
was outnumbered.
he was outnumbered. And obviously, I said, "You're lucky, buddy. You was in Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama. I don't know how that would have turned out."
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe a different ending.
Different ending. But anyway, they took him in, and obviously a day or so, he's back in the training camp. And we heard about it, we knew about it, but, it moves on, and we forgot about it until we went to play Cleveland that year. Obviously, he had missed some court dates. And so when we landed, all of a sudden we got patrol cars at the airplane. We don't know what. We think, back then, the bomb threats was going on, all this kind of crazy. So we figured it's a bomb on the plane or what's going on here, No, they was coming to get Ernie. So we see Ernie and Mr. Rooney, the old man, gets off, get into the back of the police car. They go wherever. And a couple of hours, they back at the hotel. The power with the chief.
Ernie Holmes.
Ernie Holmes, But like I say, but the thing about his career, he was like the oddball out with the front four. But it's interesting, when they retired, he became the leader of the front four.
How so?
Well, Ernie became a minister, and he was out ministering and preaching Christ and salvation, had just transformed his life. And so when they would do an autograph session, Ernie was leading them. He was in charge. Matter of fact, he would, he'd say, he'll call them, before any event, and say, "Let's be downstairs in 15 minutes. You better be down there." They all come down, and they're gathered there for prayer. Ernie got them there, holding hands. Wait a minute now. Who put you in charge?
He put him in charge.
He was in charge, yeah, which was very interesting because that dynamic, I would never seen that. He was like the oddball. You got the three of them, and there he is. Yeah, that's him over there, y'all.
So one of the other front four of the Steel Curtain is Dwight White.
Yeah.
And you said he was the Richard Pryor, did you say?
Yeah. Dwight White. Dwight and I was roommates. My last few years in pro, Dwight and I was roommates, and a good friend. Yeah, Dwight was a humorous guy, very sharp-witted and full of jokes. He would crack on you. He would talk about anybody, talk about the coach. He in their faces, he had this personality where people allowed him to abuse them, and because he's going to do it anyway. But in a loving way, but he was gregarious, fun, but was quick. Do not get in debate with him about anything. You're going to lose. Do not get into playing games with a dozen with him. You're going to lose. He takes over a room when he walks in, Dwight White did.
He does.
Yeah.
So did he have a different way of talking to Chuck Noll than the rest of you guys?
Oh, yeah. Dwight would say things to Chuck that a lot of people wouldn't say to most people. Matter of fact, he would play the dozens with Chuck. And playing the dozens in the black community is where you talk about people's mama, stuff like that. It's kind of a joking thing, Your mama got this. Your mama, your mama, you got one eye, And he would approach Chuck Knowles, and he would call him Chaz. We call him, hey, Coach Knowles, whatever, or Chuck, No, he called him Jazzy Chaz, He said, "Hey, Chaz, what's happening?"
So you guys like that.
Yeah, but he had that personality that allowed, like I said, the different personality that Chuck dealt with. It was amazing. He and Dwight had that thing where they would get into playing the dozens, talking about each other's mama. Oh my God. So.
Does that get dangerous?
No, when I was a kid growing up playing the dozen, it was part of the game, but then the guy that losing, that he wanted to fight, But in this situation, it was Chuck, and it was kind of humorous where Dwight found out that Chuck could play the dozen, and Chuck was smart enough and witty enough to put Dwight in his place in playing the dozen. And that was shocking. You don't expect Chuck to know how to play the dozen. You know, I mean, what are you doing to play the dozen? Well, we found out that Chuck, we was told, was friend with Jim Brown. They was roommates. So Chuck association and Chuck
Roommates
history,
with the great Jim Brown.
yeah, we don't know because they played together. But you don't know all the relationships, and so you have to go back and say why would Chuck knows what's the source of this, and you start digging, you can understand his why, where he comes from, what he knows, how he know how to relate, you know, because it starts someplace. A lot of times we don't know what people's story really is. What's Chuck Noll's real story that allowed him to produce this? And as we got to know him, his story was that his biggest thing that he respect us.
Which is essential, right?
That was so essential. Think about the times again, as a black man in that time, in the early 70s. We coming out of civil rights where we've been told that we're less than most of our lives.
And some of you end up coming from the deep south.
A lot of us did, yeah. And where our manhood was not recognized, we were not respected. You had to fight for respect. And everything around you said you were less than or you were inferior. So now here's a guy that is championing and respecting your dignity as a man. That's fresh. That's new. That's cutting edge for a black man.
You know, you would seem as, you know, come from where I come from, you would think that's just basic.
No.
But where you come from, it's not basic.
No.
You're calling it cutting edge just to be respected.
Yeah. Yeah, because see, I've had guys 20 years. My dad is the junior 20 years of him, called him a boy. How you call, you know, hey boy. So when you see that condescending, that degradation goes on, it creates something in you because your dignity, your being, your self-worth it's been suppressed. Not only you see it suppressed, and that you see it. I'm sitting in school, and my education is being suppressed. Even when I'm in a white school, it's being suppressed because the perspective I'm getting. But then I look at my black friends in black school, they got the white books. Although we got black teachers, she's teaching from the white structure, the white curriculum. So she's suppressing the blacks there too because it's still their old books that were sent to the black schools that you had 3 years ago. So even this black teacher is perpetrating the system of disrespect because who wrote the books? Who's in the books? Mm-hmm. So that become a constant. So it's a rarity when you see someone, and you know when someone respects you as a man, your dignity, your personhood. And so
maybe that was one of the secret sauces of Chuck Noll.
it's no doubt about it. I mean, if you are respected and a person respect you, you will adhere, you would adjust to, you can embrace that. You know, because when you take a man's dignity from him, he has nothing left. You know, and so, but at the same time, when you respect and embrace a man's humanity, that's powerful. He has value. It determines how he looks at himself.
You know, I teach coaches how to coach because I run youth sports organizations. And I tell our coaches that you need to show these kids that you genuinely care about them. And if you can't fake that.
You can't. No.
You cannot fake whether, and they're going to know that.
Yeah.
So that I think one of the most important things is show you care and show you believe in them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you were saying about Chuck Noll. Not only he respected you, but he championed you.
Yeah,
that-
and you know,
Did that translate to belief?
sure. Yeah, because compassion and love always form belief, whether it's in situation or in your salvation. If love has a reciprocal of that, and that is you believe in, and so if someone show you love, that's the source of belief. I believe in what Chuck Noll said because his source of love or respect for me. So I can confess that to him and to myself, because I have to tell myself that. So when you see that, you recognize it. And it's a powerful tool that we don't know in this. We're not where we are in society because we do not profess one's humanity with compassion. Can you imagine what that would do to a young man or a young woman? That's the problem. Very simple. We got a need here, a fuel system that is fueled off compassion. It's strictly the source of everything. You show someone love and compassion, oh my God, you catapult them in all areas of their lives.
That's so true. I mean, my father passed at a young age, and my mother was a 37-year-old widow with 4 kids.
Yeah.
And I say, and she's still alive at 92 and a half, and I said, the biggest gift she gave us kids was unconditional love. Imagine not everybody gets that, JT.
No.
Not everybody gets to experience what unconditional love feels like.
No.
But it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
And it really, it builds and it allows you to give it away as you grow. Did you ever feel that from anybody?
Yeah, I mean, I felt it in my family. I had family around me. I felt it from the nuns in the convent in my early age, because typically compassion and love in our society, it comes with a cost or chain. You're chained to something. It doesn't come freely, unattached. It comes encumbered with something, and that's because the love that we is always conditional. It has phrases like if, then, or because of. It's just not love that that just is. My love is. You fill in the blank. No, my love is this because of that, or if you do this. And so we don't have that open being of love is. It's whatever you need it to be.
Yeah.
And so that's not how we function as human beings. We have conditions.
So it was like a perfect storm. The Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s. They draft these thoroughbreds, and you put you all together and come up with some schemes and some strategies, but then there's a leader that has to kind of cobble it all together, or leaders.
Right.
And so I think we've learned that one of Chuck Noll's secret sauces was he respected you and he championed you.
Yep.
Was there anything else you feel he had that helped him lead you to 4 Super Bowls?
Well, yeah, he let us knew the most important thing wasn't football. He always had us looking beyond the game. He always talking about your life works. Everything was not about the game or the Super Bowl. He talks about your family, after the game. So he had you looking beyond the game.
And he spoke to the team about that.
All the players. He had us looking beyond the game. The game was a vehicle, like school, whatever. It was only a vehicle
To get you onto your life's work,
to
as
your
you used to
life
say.
work, your mission, your vision. He made it very sure, well, you're not going to be here long. This is, he made it sure this is not a career, this is a job. So I never looked at football as a career. Now today it's different. You can look at it as a career.
That's what I was just thinking. It's so different today.
It's different now. So the players are not thinking the way I'm playing. They can think of a training camp like mine.
Right.
That first people training camp, I was like, oh my God, we were just becoming animals. we were being transformed into some barbaric where it didn't hurt to be bitten by something. So, and we have 3 more weeks of this to go. These guys, I guess they put on some pads next week. By now, most guys would have lost any weight. First week, they down 10, 20 pounds already from the time they showed up. So it's a different game, a different purpose, and I think I don't know how to look at the game today. I wouldn't be in it. How to look at the game? What's my motivation if I arrived last week training camp? I got $30 million in the bank. I've already bought mom's house, my house, bought my car. All my dreams up to now, I fulfilled them before I got here because I had the means. Even all the girls I knew, I done dealt with all of them. Now, I come to training camp, I don't have any dreams currently that I have to fulfill.
Yeah.
I'm 22 with $30 million. There's only 3 things on my mind, and 2 of them twice.
Yeah.
So it's a very dangerous situation to be in, which I can't imagine.
Well, I want to go to this. So we had Art Rooney Jr. on the show. We did 6 hours with 3 2-hour sessions with Art Rooney Jr., the Chiefs' son, who was in the draft room during those Super Bowl winning years with Blesto.
Sure.
And the big thing that I wanted to know from him was, why didn't we draft Danny Marino? And that was the one thing I really wanted to know out of that book, because that was a big decision that really impacted the Steelers after you. And he said that, well, Danny Marino, there was all these drug rumors going on, and so, but he was maybe going to drop to them down where they were choosing, and they had 3 people on the draft board. They had Dave Remington, the center from Nebraska. They had Gabe Rivera, the North Texas State defensive tackle, and Danny Marino. So he said that they had private investigators follow Dan Marino. And on the day of the draft, they walked in and they wanted to know what about the rumors. And they all said to the chief and Art Jr. and Chuck Noll that the rumors are really overblown. He's no drug addict. He maybe smokes a little weed here and there, but he's no drug addict. And so the chief wanted to draft Marino. He's a Pittsburgh kid, went to Central Catholic. They say the rosary every night before dinner. And, this is what the chief wanted to do.
Right.
But he looked at his son and said, Chuck Noll makes the decisions because if he's wrong, he's to blame.
Right.
If we make the decisions and we wrong, we to blame. So Chuck Noll looked at him, looked at everybody and said, we started this dynasty on defense with Mean Joe Green. And so that's what we're going to do and choose Gabe Rivera. Now, he went ahead and wrapped his car around a telephone pole and was paralyzed. And it changed. I mean, we could have many more Super Bowls
Sure.
with a quarterback like that. But
I don't know though. My gut. I knew Danny. I used to work out with Danny over the years when he was at Pitt. I don't think Danny would fit into the culture of Chuck Knowles. Chuck Knowles was too militaristic, regimented, no excuses.
interesting.
I don't think Danny would have fit into that structure. One thing.
He had a rocket as an arm. His arm.
Oh,
was
the guy was quick. I used to work out with the guy. The guy was amazing. I mean, the guy could throw the ball. I mean,
So you worked out with him?
I worked out with him. He used to jump rope
At
together
Pitt?
at Pitt. Yeah. But I don't think a lot of guys could not fit into Chuck Knowles' disciplinary, no nonsense, no excuse culture, unless you thought that way yourself. See, I think when Chuck drafted players, it was much more than the physical. It was mentally, what type of mental aptitude they had, mental toughness. Because all these players were the same. They were all like pit bulls. They were not, they gonna eat the bone and the marrow. And so that was the personality that I think he drafted, players that knew that it is never enough. You never arrive.
Well, do you think Terry Bradshaw had that?
Oh, hell yeah.
What do you mean by that?
That's, Terry said something, and I heard people tell it different. They tell the story, but the truth of it, we had played a game in Three Rivers, got our butts kicked in Three Rivers, which wouldn't happen. But so our sauna on home games became our beer garden after the game. They turned the heat off in the sauna. So after we shower, we go in the sauna. We get trash cans of beer, so we take a bath after the game, and we sit there and celebrate or sob. So we're sitting there in our sauna, our beer garden now. It's not the sauna. After the game, and Terry has stunk the place up. And he's sitting there moping, almost crying in his beard, and Dwight and Moon Mullen and a few other guys, we sit up in there. And Terry say, man, I stunk. I stunk the place. And Dwight said, we all stunk. We all got our ass kicked today. We got our, kicked. And Terry and Dwight said, man, don't worry about it, man. We're going to be okay. And he said something I'll never forget. He said, you know what, guys? You guys can lose with me, but you can't win without me. And Dwight said what Dwight said. But it was similar to amen, but it wasn't holy. Agree with, and we thought about that. Because we knew what kind of athlete he was. I mean,
That's a heck of a statement, JT.
Oh yeah, it's a heck of a statement. I never get him saying that. He's sitting there with his head down. He said, "You guys can win with me, but you can't win without me." And that was so invasive and, I guess, absorbed by everybody sitting in that sauna that evening, and he meant that, and we knew he meant that. Yeah, and that was the case. Fact. That boy was a bad boy. They called him dumb, stupid. Let me tell you something. People don't know the strength there. He was a javelin thrower, and we'd be at practice. We used to. Most defensive backs, you anticipate the throw. You have to. You can't allow the arm to come forward, or you're late. Bradshaw releasing power, and he threw a spiral. Bradshaw put his finger in the seam. That's kind of strange to throw the football. This pointed finger's in the seam, and that's why it's a perfect bullet. I don't know how you throw the ball that way. I have no idea how you put your finger in that little seam, but the ball is traveling at a velocity that you can't tell because it's such a smooth spiral. And we'd be at practice, you set an interception up, you bait him, and you see the ball, and you break him. You don't know the velocity, you can't anticipate the speed, and you you missed the ball. I said, damn, how did I miss that ball? Well, the velocity on it and the arm on it was just such amazing. And he was so good at, they were saying, well, he threw the ball, swung, and when he got it. No, that's where he put the ball at. He didn't. Well, so you switch where the credit goes. Oh, swung them going up in the air, and which they're great athletes do that. Not to get the ball, because that's where Bradshaw put the ball. Because it says something, well, he know about your talent. So to put the ball in the air, well, he has to have some sense of how you can go up in the air to get it. And you've seen it done so many times, Stallworth, Swan, and the jumps and the catches that were made. Oh, he's just throwing the ball wild, and these guys just being Superman flying up to get it. No, he's not.
But his intellect was questioned when he came into
Well,
town.
you know why? Just like mine was questioned. Mine's by skin color. He's from the South there. I'm a Georgia. I'm from Louisiana. Chewing tobacco, So I'm a Southern. Yeah, my words are long, and I got a melody in my voice. I sing my lyrics. I sing my talk. Everything I say, I'm singing. So you must be slow. You from the South.
But you're here to say that's just not the truth.
Of course not. Let me tell you something. He dumb like a fox, okay?
Oh.
Yeah. Dumb like a fox.
I remember all that chatter about that.
It was going around. And, and we embraced it because we knew better. We knew what he could do.
But he had a rocket as an arm.
Yeah, he's a great athlete. Tough kid. Just strong.
Could throw the deep ball.
Yeah, he's an amazing athlete. And today, he hasn't gotten the credit as a quarterback. And I think because people start off with the stigma, they keep the stigma. Okay,
Right,
well,
stigma.
we will erase some of the stigma, not all of it.
Yeah. Well, you're erasing some of it today.
Well, it's just the truth. I mean, we never get to the truth. The truth is something we're always searching for. You know that.
Well, we're finding some truth today with you.
Yeah,
JT.
we found a little truth, but there's always more we miss. The truth is something that is always evolving. We never get it all. It's too much because most of us can't handle the truth.
I think there's a famous line in the movie about that.
Yeah, it is. We can't handle
You
all the
can't
truth.
handle the truth.
No, we can't handle it. We play with the truth. We pull at the truth, but we can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
Because it humbles us.
Yeah.
It humbles us.
Well, another hour just flew by, JT.
So good. I appreciate that.
I mean, we are putting I think, a terrific series together of talking to you about your life,
Sure.
but also your life with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Sure.
And this city, the fabric of the city is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It is, yeah. It is because when I came here, like I say, I found out that the most intriguing thing in Pittsburgh that I was different from the South is that I could go around the world and don't leave Pittsburgh. I was in East Liberty, the Italian. I was in Squirrel Hill, the Jewish. I'm on Polish Hill. I'm everywhere, and not only that, I'm excited about the food at the time because I had never seen all the different types of food. Jewish food, Polish food, Italian food. I didn't know nothing about that down south. Everybody eats the same thing down south, And so I'm exposed to this ethnicity here, and it was just so. And then with the Steelers, they put us in these environments. So it was just an amazing learning the culture and the diversity, and Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, it's kind of like we're like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz in Pittsburgh. We could be even greater if we know how to click our heels. See, Dorothy could have gone home the first day. She didn't know how to click her heels, and Pittsburgh, unfortunately, don't know how to click his heels.
Well, JT, I've never heard Pittsburgh in the same breath as the Wizard of Oz, but I like it. I like it.
Yeah, it is, and that's why people stay here. That's why people fall in because you see the opportunity here. But it's tough getting Dorothy to click her heels sometimes.
And many people leave and they come back.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Because they waiting on Dorothy to click her heels.
Click her heels. Well, anyway, thank you for spending another hour with us. It's been a real pleasure to have you with me.
Take care, my friend.
Okay.
Always, babe.
Always. And thank you for watching. I want to leave you with this. If you, your mother, brother, sister, or any relative needs an organ donation to save your life or a transplant to save your life, Would we take it? I think we all would say yes. And so if we're going to take it, then why don't we all become an organ donor and give the gift of life, the best gift you could ever give somebody. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this hour with JT Thomas, the Super Bowl winning Pittsburgh Steeler. Please join us again. Take care, everybody.